the ColorLogic system works accurately because we have characterized all of our colors and our decorative effects based on what the printing press can do. So we've basically studied all major press manufacturers, whether that's printing with white ink or silver ink or toner, and we then built a system around it. So all of our algorithms in our plugins, all the color formulations in our swatch books are based around what the press can achieve. So from there, we now know what is achievable with the machine. We can now use those tools to do color separation. So that could be in Illustrator, like we're in now, to show you. We could be packaging labels, etc., using our dedicated metallic palettes. Could be in InDesign as well, but today we're going to demonstrate how to do the image separation that we did for Printing United on your files. So as a quick demonstration to compare against how white ink is usually done versus what we do with ColorLogic, on the left hand side we have the traditional old-fashioned white ink mask. Now that basically means you have to create a separation where you want to see the white. Now you can't see white on a computer screen if you make it white. So for anybody that's not familiar with this, if I make it white and then I switch on my file, you cannot see your white separation because white set to overprint or multiply goes transparent. Therefore, we're all taught that basically we should create a spot color called white and we should make it like blue, for example. That's the most commonly used one. So now we see the white, but it's blue. So all your whites are blue, all your images contaminated by blue colors, you can't really see the intent of the design correctly. Now what normally happens is people basically put metallic in everything else. So in this background area, for example, you would have the silver substrate and that's it. So you'd have silver substrate and white. And it's quite a crude way of working. You get these kind of like hard edges. There's no photorealism, there's no shading, and quite honestly, it looks quite terrible. Now with ColorLogic, on the other hand, this image here, we have the ColorLogic separation. So you can see the image on the right actually looks right. It looks correct. And it looks correct because we're using our plugins. So first of all, we have a plugin from the plugin menu. It's an Adobe UXP based plugin. The image separation algorithms have been developed, like I said, based on what the press can do. So it takes into account things like ISO standard for the CMYK. And then calculates the optimum effect for the pixels in the image based on all these different properties. Yellow is more translucent than a blue. You need less metallic in the yellows than you do into the cyans. There's an anti-screen clash algorithm built in there. There's a whole range of complexity. But what it basically means is all you have to do is create metallic separation. So we've done one here. We've got the separation done. So the silver is the silver substrate. The white is the white ink mask. So unlike comparing it against the old-fashioned method, our separation shows you the silver substrate and the white, whereas the old-fashioned method doesn't show you a silver substrate, doesn't show you white. So what's the more logical thing? Design where you can see the effect correctly, accurately, with color separations that generates photorealistic separations. You've got tonal shading throughout there. It's not 100% white, it's not 100% silver substrate. We create tonal ranges based on our algorithms. So that means that we have these photorealistic separations. Now the next thing we're going to do is show you how we did it on your actual file, so we can show you how the plugin worked and what we did to it. We will then take that file and render it in the FX viewer, which we use to see the metallic effects, and then we can then see what the final printed result was like. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, so to separate this image is extremely simple. We're going to go to the plugin menu, go to ColorLogic, go to Image Effects, and you will then see a plugin with two buttons. We're going to press the Create Metallic Separation. That's going to analyze the image, calculate the optimum metallic effect for each pixel in the image based on its hue value. What that means is you have a lovely ColorLogic separation created for you, fully automatic. Now, you don't want everything to be metallic. You want to look at contrast, and in particular on this image, we partnered with Scodix. So the image was originally printed on an HP Indigo, using the Uniluster unifoil substrate with the ColorLogic system. But we also had accents of the Scodix on there. And this particular image, I believe, had the varnish, so Scodix Sense for the varnish, the tactile 3D raised polymer. So we're going to just show you an example of that separation, to show you how we would use it. So first of all, we don't want everything to be metallic. So we're going to make a selection of what we don't want to be metallic, and we're just going to delete it to white. So that means that anything that we see as white is the white ink, and all the silver is the silver substrate. And you'll notice how our separation is tonal, meaning we have different tint percentages of that metallic effect inside there. We can also boost up that metallic effect by 25% at a time. So let me just go over the top. You'll see how it's kind of like changing. The idea behind that is that if you want to put a little bit extra pop into the design, put more reflectivity into it, you can do so calculated through our algorithm. Okay, so what we have now is we have the original image and we have the ColorLogic separation. Now, silver substrate has the color appearance of gray. It's about 30% black. So we're going to do a color compensation for that through the ColorLogic separation. Sounds complicated, but it's actually quite simple and easy. And this is part of what happens with buying into ColorLogic. It's not just the speed and accuracy of our palettes and our plugins and the swatch book and the 924 colors. It's also training and education. How do I use metallics? What can I do here? How should I do this? All of these tips and tricks is what you will learn through the ColorLogic system, and these are just a few of them. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this image down. We're going to convert it into CMYK, because I want to be doing my color correction on the CMYK layer. I'm going to make a selection of the pixels on the ColorLogic separation, and I'm going to do a new brightness and contrast separation mask on here, and I'm just going to change that to 30. So I'm just basically brightening the image only in the area where the ColorLogic separation pixels are. It's not doing anything else anywhere else, purely through the ColorLogic separation. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to make a selection and we're going to go onto the base background layer, and this time we're going to do another one, but hue and saturation, and we're going to go to the saturation level and we're going to hit that with about 15 points. And that's just to push a little bit more colour into that area where the ColorLogic separation will be, because that silver substrate's that greyness and it's really overpowering as a material. So by adding a little bit of colour pop in there and also brightening the background, we can compensate for that greyness of that substrate. And that's all there is to it. These are non-destructive layers. If you want, you can always switch them off. So all we're going to do now, save that file, we're going to take it into Illustrator, we're going to make a PDF file from it, and we'll then render that in the FX viewer to see the effects of the design, which we can then show onto the customer. Now, this particular design also did have a Scodix separation, as I mentioned, so just to give you an example, what we would do on here, we would basically make a Scodix scent separation, 100% black in this case, and that's basically all the black area is going to be the varnish, that 3D sculpted varnish. So then we'd have that kind of wet look on all of the raindrops splattered through there. You can see where it would be applied, and that's going to give you that extra dimensional shift. So it's not just about using ColorLogic on its own. We partner with other companies like Scodix, so we can show how our system can work with theirs. So there you go, really quick, really easy. What we're going to do now, we'll jump over and do that FX viewer file.